second part. Each one is going to be roughly about an hour. But, yeah, if you haven't seen that one, go ahead and check it out. But, go ahead and start.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Mr. Hampton needs me right now. We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan.
Come on, you bastard! You can do better than that! Nah! It's my turn!
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
I doubt the district will suffer much. Since last time I did get the expansion for this. That's weird. I'm gonna go ahead and check to make sure it downloaded real quick. Well, oh well, maybe I'll find out like here in a little bit how to get it.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
I cannot enter.
kind of have to go this way, then, I guess.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Oh, the irony of that.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
She's level 5. She's healthy. Personal questions. Perfect. Requires hints. Dang it. Life in London.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Interesting.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
Can't press her any further at the moment. I'll have to go and
Goodbye, nurse.
look
Call me
around,
if you need assistance.
see if I can get more information from somebody else.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
Yeah, I'm an 8-year.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the 2nd floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Dang, I was hoping for something that I could use as dirt.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
I don't think they'll let me bite her either.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
She probably plays some important role of some kind. Oh, she's only a level 2. And it does show the blood, so it's weird. Cool.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Almost high enough level to take that one lady's throat.
It is the last thing our patients need.
Blood down there. Isn't that the blood from me killing somebody though? Let's go exploring. Wait. Hey, somebody I can interrogate. Maybe I'll get some information. Let's go press that one guy that we were talking to, that old lady about. I think this is him right here. What's with the loading? What the heck? It's weird.
Good evening, sir.
Right.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Whoops, wasn't trying to do that. Hopefully it doesn't.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Doc.
There. I'm gonna press. Wait a minute, I thought I pulled some information from it.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Dang. He's...
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man,
good.
she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Oh, wow. Well, he's sexist.
What is the Pembroke
Then
Hospital
again,
situation?
for the time, that
And
sounds...
please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Gotta use that hit we got.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
You're exhausting yourself.
No.
Nurse Brannigan, you don't... Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Another night. Surely I can endure.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Actually, let's check upon him and then we'll press his interests, like, press for information from him.
Do you need any medical help?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least. But I would give everything to be in a better place right now.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything. And it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor.
We're gonna go
I'd rather
get
not
a
bring your dead body back.
Let's go. Interesting. Let's go. I feel like if we find that wallet, we'll find information that we can use.
I'd like to see your
to
goods.
make him easier
Wise choice,
to
Dr.
feed
Reed.
off of.
A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days. Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadigan fellow.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good.
Perfect.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Dang, I was hoping for something.
Goodbye,
a little more,
nurse.
but
Call me if you need assistance.
let's go ahead and look at her personal real quick. Okay, so we found 1 of 3. I have not spoken to a social circle yet, but she's another nurse. Like I said, I killed the man, and I feel like he has no, like, healthy, stable. Ooh, that one's serious. I know how to throw these into chaos, like, extremely quickly. I don't know what happens if I do, but, you know, never hurts. I could feed off them. I could feed off these people, but the hospital seems like probably the easiest place to find myself, like, at least a few different, like, things. I can't think what I'm trying to say now, but like, it seems like the best place to find victims. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Hello there.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening,
This
Doctor.
is the...
I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Let's see here. Nothing right now, so let's check this.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Dang, this really hits hard during the corona.
Do you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
How would you describe this?
It's serious.
How long have you been a nurse?
Or long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
She's
Well,
very
not
much
well.
rude. Like I tried
Milton,
to
the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Well, to be fair,
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
well, that
Why does
was
Milton
helpful.
dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
I feel like if I go talk to Milton, I'll probably get something of use.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Talk to these two.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
This ought to be good. Wait. Just who are you really?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
Dang.
What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
Fascinating.
And
You're a
why do you
vampire?
believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Well then.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even
Perfect.
begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Yes.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want.
No, you
As a
can't.
woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Do it then.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
That's useful.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Interesting. Dang, I really want to press on the whole...
I'll leave you, Mr.
Alright, now, talk to him.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't
Interesting.
think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon
Wait a
here.
minute, isn't the guy I just saved
War
from
injuries,
squaring up?
am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. but they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Any personal questions I can push on? Okay, cool.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Good point, I guess.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Except for when she's being murked.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense.
Sorry.
I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
I was really hoping that would give me something.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
I can't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
He's healthy. His social circle consists of the weird lady. Got it. Live in London.
How is your stay with us?
Oh, it's bliss.
Can I ask?
It's the
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
I could help him, but I'm not going to help him.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Disgust on every street corner.
Wait a minute, isn't this the guy
Good
that
evening,
I
Mr.
saved
Hampton.
earlier?
How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, Sora, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
He's referring to his flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Touche. Situation in East End Docks. Presence.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Wait a minute. I just bit that.
How did you end up
How?
in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behaviour. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hallcroft.
Oh. That's the same Miss Hallcroft that I was discussing.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
What do you do for a living, Mr.
Hampton?
Hampton?
2 hours.
I
So
can't
that
help but
there's a little
notice
more,
the
like,
cross around
combat,
you.
you know?
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton?
There's
A
special
deacon,
combat.
maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
He doesn't know. Cool.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
I swear this man won't shut up about
Goodbye,
his
Mr.
luck.
Hampton. It's locked.
Is there somebody in there? Yes, there's a single patient in there. Okay, cool. Pippa.
I wonder what your last Help me! Help!
Oh, this is weird.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding?
Good evening.
I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
About that.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor. But perhaps it is because I, too, am used to the smell of the dead.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
I'll continue the actual story, just so you guys can like get a little bit of like more combat after I look at this.
It never ceases to amaze me how brave the dead are.
Was this the guy that was yelling? I'm trying to figure out who this guy was that was yelling. Okay, that's a lot of people that I can investigate later on.
You always needed words to calm the children,
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Cool.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I'll come talk to you later. Gotta go fast. Wait a minute. Spin lights up, suspiciously so. Right here. Interesting. Let's see what he does.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir?
No.
You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir, and I thank you for your generous donation.
I'm eating that man. Him and a few other just made my drink list.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
There they are. There's the weapons that I was looking for. Dragon's Bane and Barker, eh? And the hat. Perfect. If you didn't see the first one, I am, like, attempting at least to bite as many people as possible. Like, as often as possible, and trying to, like, finish people off. And kill people using only, like, blood-sucking, like, stagger them, bite them, you know? Like, that type of stuff. Because I feel like it's more, like, poetic with, like, the whole vampire concept and stuff. I'm not even sure what this is loading right now, but... Oh, cool. my eyes are like blood red now. They weren't blood red a second ago. Dragon Bane. Interesting. Clay's hatchet and the barker. There we go. Cloak and dagger. What does it want me to craft or upgrade? Oh, it wants me to analyze this. Okay, cool. I don't have any of the ingredients I need. The blade. Enhanced damage. Increased blood absorption. Wait, this thing absorbs blood? No. Alright, cool.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive... The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. The flower's dying. It needs water.
Wait a minute, it needs water? Let me go over to the sink real quick. Wait. I feel like if I look around I can find a glass of some kind to use. Because that's one of my achievements, is, to, like, water the plants. That's peculiar. This also takes a while, so I think it, like, switches between my skins I have. So, like, the regular one and then the one in the top hat. So, that's interesting to say the least. But it does take a while. Have to... Oh, I'm not high enough level for that. Okay, cool. What does this do? Coagulation. These are all level 6 abilities, really? Wow, that's lame. Interesting. So, and it costs nothing, so I almost feel like I have to buy it. Like, that's just OP. Interesting. There, that should be good. Sleep. Wait for the next day. See how things affected. Okay, so. And I just found out about. Interesting. That brought it down slightly. I figured it would like leave it like just fine, you know, because like he's not the best
If
person.
I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals.
How am I gonna put water on this?
But what about my thirst for blood?
Oh well, I'll figure it out.
Hurry now, Doctor. It's freezing.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
That was also where the
It's
one
the
that you
large
said
building
she
behind
was
the hospital.
feeling like people
You'll need to
watching
go in the
her,
back
so
door
that's
because it's
useful.
been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way, then.
Giant morgue disguised as a hospital. What's Pembroke nowadays?
I cannot enter. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody...
Filthy skull. Oh no, more skull. strike them a few times. Just by the finish them off. Was that it? Where's this guy's wallet?
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item.
No way.
Those two have hidden their affections well.
I'm glad I can make use of. Friend turn to him and be like, hey, found this. See how he reacts. Funny. This seems like a good place to stop. Yeah, this seems like a good place to stop. I'll be back on tomorrow, play again.